we have to define boundary layer in connection with the motion of a cricket ball. This is a cricket ball and the ball is thrown in this direction, in forward direction, and this is the direction of cricket ball flight. Now we can denote the seam of the cricket ball. And in this case, the seam of the cricket ball is angled towards the first slip fielder of a right-handed batsman. This is the seam. Which is angled towards the outward end of the right-handed batsman. In this case, seam of the cricket ball is angled towards the first slip fielder of right-handed batsman. This is the direction along which air flows. That means air flows in the backward direction with respect to the direction of ball flight. And this is the direction along which air flows with respect to the direction of ball flight. And the laminar flow over the seam side of the ball is converted into turbulent flow. So a thin layer of air which is formed on the seam side of the ball, that is called boundary layer, and on the other side, on the non-seam side of the cricket ball, air flow will be laminar flow. This air flow will be laminar flow on the non-seam side of the cricket ball. Now we can denote the separation points. A is the separation point of the turbulent flow of air touching the seam side of the cricket ball, and these are the eddies which are formed in the turbulent flow touching the seam side of the cricket ball or touching the rough side of the cricket ball. And on the other side, on the non-seam side of the cricket ball or on the shiny side of the cricket ball, the air flow is laminar flow, and this air flow or this boundary layer of air flow touching the seam side of the cricket ball is turbulent flow. And this thin layer of air is called boundary layer. Thin layer of air maintaining turbulent flow touching the seam side of the cricket ball or touching the rough side of the cricket ball is called boundary layer. That is actually a thin air layer. When a ball is flying through air, a thin layer of air which flows touching both the sides with respect to the seam of the cricket ball is called the boundary layer. The thin layer of air which flows touching both sides with respect to the seam of the ball is called boundary layer, and this boundary layer cannot stay attached to the ball surface. This boundary layer cannot stay attached to the ball surface all the way around the ball, and it tends to leave or separate from the surface at some point. A and B are the 2 points at which boundary layer will be separated from the ball. The location of the separation point A and B determines the pressure. And a relatively late separation results in lower pressure on the surface. A relatively late separation results in lower pressure on that side. A side force or swing will only be generated if there is a pressure difference. A side force or swing will only be generated if there is a pressure difference between the sides of the ball. A is the point of separation from which boundary layer maintaining turbulent flow will be separated from the surface of the ball. This is the point of separation of boundary layer maintaining turbulent flow touching the seam side of the cricket ball or touching the rough side of the cricket ball. Point of separation on the angled seam side of the ball. A is the point of separation on the angled seam side of the ball along which turbulent flow occurs, and B is a point of separation. B is also point of separation on the other side of the cricket ball, or B is the point of separation. B is the point of separation on the shiny side or on the non-seam side of the cricket ball. This is the shiny side, and the other side, that means the seam side of the cricket ball, is actually kept as rough surface. And lower pressure acts on the seam side or lower pressure acts on the rough surface of the cricket ball, and a greater pressure or higher pressure is acting on the non-seam side or acting on the shiny side, and a lateral force or side force acts towards the rough side of the cricket ball, and under the action of this side force, the cricket ball swings in air before striking the ground.